Good afternoon, and welcome to another afternoon on the front porch. My name is Denise Montgomery. I won't be before you long. I was thinking today, what will my story be? Long after I'm gone, what will my story be? How will I be remembered? All of this was triggered because my son came by the other day and he bought a book. Mom, I want to hear your story. So I asked myself, what will my story be? How will I be thought of? You ever think about that? Or does it really matter? After you're gone, it is what it is, right? But I thought about it and I said, when I write this, because I have to write all these entries to tell him about myself, right? What stories should I include? Should I include the times, the good times, as well as the bad? I'm sure he wants to know. Should I tell him about when I was between 6 and 12 years old? Every summer I broke out in a rash. It was like I was allergic to summer. And that every year that plague would come. That's what I called it, my summer plague. So every year I was driven inside and I had to sit inside. Well, now I realized that when I went through those 6 summers being inside, I would read and I would write. As a result, I'm a writer today. So I realized that really wasn't a bad thing, but when I was going through it, it didn't feel good. So I guess I will tell him about the summer plague. Will I tell him about the time when I was basically cursed out? I'm in 7th grade and I'm getting on the bus and an older lady made some racial slurs toward me. You think he wants to know about that? Pretty much, because that stayed with me. I definitely should tell him about his birth, right? Even though he was there, he wouldn't remember it. But I guess I should tell him about his birth. Should I tell him about the car accidents that I've been in? Or I'm sure he wants to know about some of those too. But I realize that what I really want him to know is I lived life. I've had a great life. I didn't do everything I wanted to do, but I want him to know that I use my life to help other people. That's really what's most important to me. I want to be able to say that if I had the ability to help somebody, I did. Because I want that to be instilled in him. Because we're not here by ourselves. We're here to help others. Now that's my belief. That may not be popular, but that's my belief. So I want him to know that I cared. Another thing I would love for my son to understand is I left life. When I'm gone, that I don't want there to be anything I can't say that I had the power to do and I didn't. I want to be empty when I leave. When I say empty, I don't want to go away. I wish I shoulda, woulda, coulda. I want it to be said that I did all that I had to do. I lived what I had to do. And I'm asking you today, are you going to leave life empty? Are you going to leave here wishing you had done some things? Think about your life. Think back over your life. What is causing you, or what is keeping you from doing some of those things that you wanted to do? Money, yeah. Time, yeah. Kids, okay. But all of those are obstacles that you can get across. You just need to plan for them. And you have to make up your mind. I've decided that I just have to make up my mind for a lot of things that I want to do. So, with that in mind, how about we jot them down and make a goal? What is something that you've been putting off that you would love to get started on doing? With me, it's my front yard. I'm so glad you guys can't see my front yard. I planted flowers out here, but I want to do better. So let's do a short-term goal. I love to travel, so maybe I know I'm going out of the country in a few months. Where's my next vacation? Where's a place you want to go, okay? Is there something that you've been putting off that you need to do for somebody else, and that they really need your help. So when you think about it, I want you to imagine, what would life be like if I did this? Because you don't want to leave with that still in you. You don't want to take that with you. You don't want to get to the end of your life and say, oh God, I wish. I don't want to get to the end of my life and say I wish anything. I want to say I lived. Because I'm going to leave here empty. I don't want to leave here full. I want to leave here knowing that I had the best life possible and that I did exactly what God wanted me to do. I made a difference in somebody's life. I don't want to just make a difference in my son's life. So let's think about that for a few minutes. What are some things that you know you have been on your heart that you need to start doing? Jot them down. Can you share it with me? I would love to hear. How will you start to write your story? If you haven't already, what will your story be? What are some of the things that your grandmother, that your kids would tell your grandmother? My grandmother, I loved her with all my heart. She passed in 1987. She had so much wisdom. She would just say little things to me that just kept me going. Like, whenever I was in a bad situation, she would say something like, well, baby, when you got your hand in the lion's mouth, wiggle easy till you get it out. I didn't have a clue what that meant for a few years, but then I realized she was trying to tell me to be patient. Be patient. Things will work out. My mom passed in 2012. All of that wisdom went with them. I wish I had taken the time to write it down. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want my son to know exactly what type of life I had. And I may not get everything in this journal. Knowing me, I won't. But I want him to be able to say, I got something that I can go back and I can look. Would that be your story? You still have time. So this is Denise Montgomery. And I want you to start thinking about what your story will be and write it down. Would you please share with me some things that you're thinking about doing, or some things that have been on your heart to do? I would love to hear from you. Until next time, take care. God bless.